types which the mother-daughter team in Myers-Briggs used to develop the test named after them, in order to have it be useful and understandable to people. Basically, it all boils down to perception and judgment. What may seem random is actually quite orderly. The only thing is that there are very subtle differences on the spectrum that describes a person. The two main goals that this duo had in mind were these: the identification of basic preferences of each of the four dichotomies specified or implicit in Jung's theory, and the identification and description of the 16 distinctive personality types that result from the interactions among the preferences. The VARK test is a very simple survey, being well understood and practical. It helps people learn better by giving advice to learning preferences. It was made in 1987 by Neil Fleming. He was the first to have help sheets for his students after taking the survey. It also helped the teachers, employees, customers, suppliers, and others in society in their own way. Barbara Solomon helped Dr. Richard Felder develop the Index of Learning Styles in 1986. This was based off of Dr. Felder and Linda Silverman's Learning Styles model. Felder revised this model in 2002 and has it have learning styles that come in 4 different dimensions. These styles are like a continuum with one extreme at one side and another at the other. As you can see in this chart, there is sensory versus intuitive, visual versus verbal, active versus reflective, and sequential versus global. Gardner's theory initially listed 7 intelligences which work together: linguistic, logical, mathematical, musical, bodily, kinesthetic, spatial, interpersonal, and intrapersonal, and later added a naturalist intelligence that says there may be a few more. Multiple intelligences are not learning styles. With humors, sanguine is blood, phlegmatic is phlegm, choleric is yellow bile, and melancholic is black bile. People with sanguine personality type tend to be lively, optimistic, buoyant, and carefree. Someone with phlegmatic personality type is usually a people person. Someone with pure choleric temperament is usually a goal-oriented person. People with melancholic personality type love traditions. The Peter Bender test is very similar to the humors. The difference is that instead of having it be truly your personality, it is your way of dealing with people and interacting. In the chart, you can see that there are 4 groups, and that depending on what word you use to describe yourself in the test, that is what determines your type. There's amiable, analytical, driver, and expressive. Test results. The first test that I took was the Myers-Briggs, and I am 83% introverted, 80% intuitive, 78% feeling, 68% assertive, which I thought was kind of confusing to be assertive yet introverted. I am also 58% prospecting. The next test I took was the VARK test. In this one I am pretty even. I got 13 on kinesthetic, 12 in oral, which was surprising because I thought I was a lot more visual than that. Speaking of which, I got 11 on visual, 10 on reading and writing, and it makes sense that it is even because I would rather take notes and say them out loud as I write, so that I am writing, moving, hearing, seeing, reading all at the same time. In the next one, which was Learning Styles by Dr. Felder, I got pretty much the same answer as VARK, but with one difference. This one showed my preference for visual. At the bottom, below the results, it has you know that anything from 1 to 3 is relatively even. There is not that strong of a preference for either one, just a tilt to one side compared to the other. Sequential versus global was the most balanced one I had, with reflective and intuitive being the others I have a slightly higher lean towards. This is similar to the Myers-Briggs in the way I am a little more intuitive. The visual one is where my strongest results were, but it's still only a medium preference. The next one was the Multiple Intelligences by Howard Gardner. My grandma told me that I had a way with words, and I guess this test proved it with 92% linguistic. Next was Intrapersonal Strength at 88%. My logical and mathematical was only 44%, which is surprisingly close to my naturalistic knowledge of 42%, which really doesn't make much sense because I don't really like the outside. My dad and my grandma were probably
created using Powtoon.